Welcome to my studio today, guys. I'm going to invite you to stand with me and continue working on this piece here that I have going at the moment. This video is going to be very raw, completely unedited. I just wanted to invite you in really and allow you to stand next to me as I paint today. That is my dog. He is always right under my feet when I am painting, so he will probably be making some noises. He's kind of like a pig. He sounds like a pig. Anyway, so this is the piece I'm working on at the moment. It's a portrait piece, an expressive portrait piece. I don't often do portraits. I usually do animals and birds and stuff. And so this is me stepping a little bit out of my comfort zone and stretching myself artistically. I think it's really important as an artist to sometimes put ourselves in situations that will stretch us and allow us to grow and to learn new things, and there's always opportunities for learning as an artist. The ceiling is, there is no ceiling. The growth potential is uncapped, which is a really beautiful really beautiful thing about art. So far on this piece, I have done some collage and I have done acrylic underpainting, some washes and bits and pieces. I've also done some mark making in the Caran d'Ache crayons. I have also used some Prismacolor, just like pencils as well, which is a new thing that I've added into my process a little bit. And then yes, acrylic paint. So this is all in acrylic, and today I'm going to be moving into oil. So oil is also a new thing for me, as in like the last year or two. So I'm a Milan Art Mastery program student or graduate, and so I did learn a little bit about oils with them. But being a acrylic artist since forever, oil scared me, and so even though I did learn about it in the mastery program, after the mastery program I kind of reverted back to just using acrylics because that's what I was comfortable doing, and I just wanted to create beautiful pieces with a medium that I felt comfortable with. But I kind of had to be honest with myself, and because for a while there I was like, I don't need to add oils to my process. It's not something that I feel like I need to do. But I kind of felt like I was lying to myself because I was afraid of them, because I wasn't comfortable with them, and so I was like, I'm not putting myself through that. And so I did stop using oils for a while, but I have reintroduced them at the end of the process, and slightly, like just doing some glazes and then some opaque areas. And the more I've practiced adding them to the end of my work, the more I've become comfortable with them. So instead of just shying away and not using them and being afraid of all the rules that I feel oils come with, I have decided to just work through it as in like practice, which has helped a lot. So if you are afraid to use oils, just practice. As you practice, you get better at things and you learn how they work and how you want to bring them into your process. So I'll be working with oils today. This is done in acrylics, I'm thinking. This is my source photo that I am working from, and yeah. So I'm going to grab out some oil paints, some Galkid, and start with some glazing, I think. Glazing some cools in the background. There's some parts of this that I really, really love, so I just kind of want to be careful as to not to cover them, really. So I will get some oil paints out and we'll get on with it. The colours that I'm going to be using for this is I'm using just all cools for right now. So I'm using Viridian hue. I've got out some permanent alizarin crimson, some magenta, Van Dyke brown, So this is a warm, but I mix it with a lot of my cools, just a little bit, because I just really love it. Like I love mixing it with, it just creates really beautiful colors, I think. Prussian blue, and I've also got this phthalo green. So those are the colors I've got in my palette. I really want to keep, you know, the green and browny kind of tones going on. So just starting off, just like, I've got this old brush that I use only for dusting off my paintings. Just want to get the dust off, any dust off that's settled before I start putting my glazes on. Okay. Okay, so some Galkid. I'm going to start with this Viridian. Just kind of like feel my way through this to start with. So where I'm thinking about with my cools is mainly obviously the background and like places that are like further back, receding back. Also like around with her face and stuff, it will be in these shadowed areas that I want to kind of be shadowed or sitting backwards, in the little, in the nostrils, like in this eye part where the eye goes in, little bits like that. I'm not too perfect with that though, so I kind of just do my own thing really. Like that's the idea, I think, but I just, yeah, I kind of just go with my own flow and what feels good and what feels right for me, but I guess, yeah, just do what feels right for me. It's not always how it should be, maybe. I don't know, but whatever. Whatever, hey. Going to come in with my cloth. This is just an old cotton t-shirt I use for my rags. I'm going to pull that back just a little bit. So I'd like, mainly want to be working kind of like light on the lighter parts of the background to darker parts. I'm overlapping a little bit into this area here. I mean, we want the painting to kind of like, you know, knit together. And I won't be covering everything. Like I'll leave some spots that are just acrylic as well. Even if like you put some on and then kind of pull it back a little bit, like I think that still enhances it more than not doing it at all with the oil, you know what I mean? Okay. I like how the oil, if you scrub it in, like it just fills all the little bits that maybe the acrylic missed. Like there's tiny little bits in the canvas that sometimes the acrylic misses. And I think it does a really good job of just like filling those in. I want to keep this kind of, I want to be really careful with this. I want to either have that mainly warms or left as acrylic. I might change my mind with that. I don't know. Here I go again. I'm already changing my mind. It so is like, just feel it as you go along and just see what happens. So it does take it a little darker as you move in with the oils, but you then you can bring the brightness back again a little bit when you work more with warms or opaques. You bring some of those opaques in. So I guess you won't be seeing a lot of change potentially because this is just glazing. Maybe you can. Just kind of like deepening, hey? Deepening things a little bit. Really want to keep it kind of loose and expressive. I don't want to get too detailed with the portrait or anything really. It's funny that line of like just enough, like working at just enough, you know. Stepping back is good too. Stepping back to review your piece. Do you think that it is looking better with the oils already? I feel like it is. I feel like it's looking a bit richer. Bit, how they say, juicier. Bit more filled in, perhaps. I guess the plus side of oils compared to acrylic is you can kind of like just wipe it off even after like a couple of minutes. Whereas acrylic dries so super fast that I feel like you kind of have to paint over it instead. So that's a bonus for sure. Just adding some more Galkid onto my palette. Just going to move us down a little bit down the painting. So start to work down a bit more. Like there, I think. It's good. I really love this part. I've been working with more, I've been bringing in, more of palette knife. And that's something else that I've been working with that's a little bit different for me. And again, it's like a practice thing, hey? Where the more you practice, just grabbing a Q-tip, the more you practice, the more you learn how to use these things, and the better your work becomes, I think. So always be experimenting and always be learning. I really think that's the key to all of life, really, isn't it? Always learning, trying new things. I really like that area. Like, I like there's just a lot of texture going on, which I'm liking. Mixing a little bit of the Van Dyke brown with that permanent alizarin crimson. It gets this really kind of like dirty red, reddy burgundy colour, which is nice. I think I actually remember Ali Milan saying something along the lines of, if the colour looks not that nice on the palette, then it's going to look really good on your painting. Like, if it looks good on the palette, chances are it's going to look a bit not great on the painting. Which is an interesting concept, but I kind of agree with that. I'm not sure if you can see that, but there's a tree here and a little sleeping tiger, and further down, I'm not sure if you can see that or not. Oh yeah, you can. There's a deer coming out from her heart. And what other collage pieces do I have? At the top, there's some boats by her head that you might have seen earlier. I really love bringing collage in to help kind of express my message, to help me with my artistic voice language in my work. I haven't been collaging in every single piece, but when I do it, I really enjoy it, and I think it adds something really beautiful, especially if you can't necessarily see it from far away. I feel like it's this really beautiful surprise for anyone that views your piece, that takes the time to view it up close. They get these little surprises, these little treasures that they can find within the painting, which I think is really beautiful. This little piece here, I really like that little bit of texture there. So I don't want it to hide away, just having the glaze around it kind of like sets it in, and then just wiping away little bits just allows it to kind of emerge and really like stand out as a beautiful part of the texture of the piece. So I haven't washed my brush out at all. I think when you're working with Simply Cools and you're kind of keeping it quite light, it's not a lot of reason to wash out your brush, because especially if you're keeping within the same, like a similar color range. Like it doesn't really get muddy so much if you stick with cools only and transparents. Like these are all transparent paints that I'm working with, so can you see that? It's quite hard to know like at what point you can't see what I'm doing. So this is, yeah, it's all a bit newer to me, this unedited, just, you know, painting session. Hopefully you guys are enjoying it and finding it relaxing or inspiring. I actually really enjoy this part, the glazing, because nothing's like, there's no outrageous changes to what you've got down. So it's kind of like, it's actually kind of like good easing yourself into the oil stage. Just starting with this glazing. Oh, am I gone too far up? Oh, have I? Yeah, I've gone too far up. Sorry, I'll stay down here. Even if you have gone over anything with cools, maybe too much, once that dries and you come in with your warms, it's like warm it up, right? I want these flowers here to be quite abstracted. I guess keeping them quite blocky. I like that drip that's coming through there from the acrylic, so I might just stop and wipe that out a bit. Wipe out a little bit of this. Yeah, looking good. I might come down a little further to the bottom. Coming out a little bit sometimes as well helps move that color around so that your variation shifts. Your variation in color shifts are really beautiful. Like it's not all just like pink and then green, like there's a overlap. There's a bit of a shift, like a transition. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I want to go over this with a little bit of kind of like that brown, the Van Dyke brown, mixed with a little bit of the green. So I'm just going to wash my brush out first. Just so I still want to see him visible, this deer, but I just don't want him like, here's a deer, you know what I mean? Like that whole hidden treasure sort of situation. Yeah, so once I finish all of the cools, glazing all these cool areas back, I will then leave it to dry. I'll leave it to fully dry, and then I will come in with the warms / neutrals. Or opaques more. Yeah, neutrals and opaques. But I want to do all my glazing, all my cool glazing now in one session. And yeah, and then let it dry and then come in and really bring it to life with some opaque warms and let it pop, really make it pop. I guess, yeah, it hasn't changed a lot with how it looks, but in person it has. Like, it's quite a lot richer. I'm not sure if you can pick that up from the screen, but it's quite a lot richer and feels more filled in and set up. I guess this is what this stage is all about, right? Setting it up. Taking it dark to bring the light back in. And then once you do, you know, the main parts, then it gets quite exciting with like these little details, little touches here, little touches there, that really bring the piece to life. Okay. So this bird area could go with a little bit more around. I'll bring you back up again. Oops. Just going to work a little bit on this. Just wanting to get a little bit more depth perhaps. And this, so it's a kind of outline of a dove. The dove's head kind of goes off. I was more focusing on the wing side of it. This painting is inspired by the idea of freedom. So when I put the opaque warms on top here, it makes certain parts kind of like pop forward and out, and really, yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to go right at this moment. I'm just going to rinse my brush out, but yeah. So what do you think so far? What do you think of my painting? I'm really proud of it. Not only am I really proud of how she's coming together, like I have redone her face about 6 times, no jokes, and I'll probably redo it again. Especially moving into oil, I will, yeah, see, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I'm not sure how that's going to go, but I'm really excited about how she's looking. But I'm also really excited about the other elements and how I've kind of put them together, and I just think it's kind of like a breakthrough piece for me. The way it's challenged me, but also just the visual of it, how I put it together, and I guess, you know how you can have something in your mind of how you want your painting to look like, and a lot of the time it doesn't always come out like that, but I really do feel like this one is coming forward the way I had hoped, which is really exciting. Because it's so much funner when it works out the way you hope. right? Just adding a bit more Galkid. So I'm using quite a bit of Galkid for my glazing. Mixing my colours in with the Galkid. I'm just going to do a little bit more here before I relieve you guys from hopefully not a boring video. If you're still here at the end, thank you so much for joining me this whole video, keeping me company. If you are an artist and would like to see more in-depth art classes from me, I have some art classes on my website, and I also have a online like an art community called The Awakened Artist, where they have tutorials, fully guided start to finish tutorials, and source creation process videos showing you how to create sources, kind of just like this one. There's all sorts of images knitted together to create your own story and create your own message as a visual. And I also offer mentorship in that space as well. So you can put forward source creation questions like sources, and I will review them and let you know where, you know, my opinion on them and how I feel like you could improve them. Also painting, critiquing, just anything really that you want to know that you would value my opinion in. So that is called The Awakened Artist, and it is on a platform called Skool, which is a really good platform, and we have a really beautiful community of artists who support each other, and just a really beautiful vibe within there. Really positive, really empowering, supportive. I'm really proud of this space. And there's also an inner alchemy part of the space as well, which is dedicated to evolving personally, so like personal development, mindset stuff. Because I do believe that evolving as an artist and a person is what makes our art really shine as we become aligned. So if we're painting freedom, for instance, but we don't feel free, then that energy is not going to be translated as powerfully as it could. And so that's my idea and my theory behind bringing the two together in a space like a community space, community/learning space, to evolve you and your art, evolve together, and yeah, it's very powerful. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That is all my predominantly all my cools. I could do a little bit more. Maybe I'll do that. I'll just keep going a little bit longer if you'll stay with me. And I'm going to go down my size and my brush. And I'm just going to come through some of these places on the face. Just checking that you can see it. Just a couple of these areas here where I do feel that the oils on the face part is gonna need me alone and completely in my right brain. Because yeah, it's definitely something that's challenging to me. Not necessarily something that I could talk through. I am also working on a 6-week journey on finding or discovering, uncovering your artistic voice. It's going to be really powerful, and I'm really excited about that actually. It's in the works at the moment, and it just kind of is like a deep dive into why you're attracted to the things that you're attracted to. Because nothing's really by chance. And you know, what's your story, and how's that connected to your art and what you want to say in your art. And yeah, it's a deep dive, and just kind of understanding what artistic voice really means from my perspective. So yeah, so that is in the making. And if you want to, if that interests you, then do sign up to my my email list, so that you can be the first to know about that when it's coming out. And also, when I release things like that, I usually do some type of giveaway, something like that. So it's always cool to be included in a potential, I was thinking maybe, don't quote me, but maybe offering the chance to win maybe 3 to 6 months of the Awakened Artist for free, if you're within like one of the first 10 to purchase the Find Your Artistic Voice journey. Anyway, I'm going to stop there for now. Do you do that too? You're like, I'm just going to stop there, and then you like, keep going. And I'm going to let that dry, and then my next session I will be starting to build with opaques, a little bit of opaque cools in the background, just some of these areas, popping them forward a little bit more maybe, and then yeah, bringing in the warms on top of the parts that defining things a bit more. And yeah, just see how I go really. I hope you liked this painting, and I hope you liked this session. Let me know if you'd like more of this kind of thing from me. Feel free to subscribe. I haven't been on YouTube for a while, so if you're interested in this kind of content, then I can do that maybe once a month or something. And yeah, so thank you for joining me. And I will see you perhaps another time.